In today's video, we're going to look at the lessons I learned from Oprah Winfrey to build a $1 million business in just 90 days. Hi, my name is Christopher Brown from alphalifestyleacademy.com. Now, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to be notified for when we do a new video. But before we go ahead and get started, there are two personality traits that are the greatest predictors of wealth. So I want to invite you to take your performance-based personality test to see if you have any of these traits. And if you don't worry about it, because chances are you were not born with these traits. I know I was not. I've had to cultivate them by optimizing my brain to make more money, which you can do so at millionairetest.alphalifestyleacademy.com. So let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. At this point in your life, did you think you'd be further along and feel that you have to make up for lost time? Perhaps you need to recover from a major financial setback like divorce, or you're still trying to make up for the losses from the 2008 Great Recession. For some of you, the idea of making $1 million in just 90 days may seem impossible until you understand how it is done. The same is true if I was to show you how to lift 10,000 pounds. However, Archimedes, the Greek mathematician, figured out a mathematical principle to do so. He said, "Give me a lever long enough and I will move the world." We will use this exact same principle in business. Just like the TV show Undercover Billionaire, which in season 1 with Ben Stearns and season 2, Grant Cardone was dropped off with just $100 in the middle of nowhere. No contacts, just their skills, and made $1 million in just 90 days. By way of review from our previous lesson, Cardone Ventures reported on the state of small businesses. That shows there are 31.5 million small businesses. 25 million are self-employed. 5.2 million businesses with between 2 to 15 employees. And 630,000 businesses with 15 or more employees. Every year, despite the economy, 2/3 of businesses close their doors every 5 years. And the top 3 reasons they give are: number 1, not enough demand for their products or services. Number 2, can't find good help. And number 3, can't get funding. Because many of these enterprises sit around waiting for people to come in and buy. However, that is not the way business is done for most people. They need to know what you can do for them. And for them to know this, you have to tell them through sales and marketing. The challenge for many smaller enterprises is they land one customer at a time, where the more successful enterprises use group marketing, where they land a deal where that one customer may refer hundreds, or depending on the size of the enterprise, thousands of new customers. So what makes the difference between only making a few $1,000s and making $1 million in just 90 days? Now, before I answer that question, let's review how this works. Now, this is an oversimplified explanation. You got company A and company B. Company A then refers their customers to company B, and company B refers their customers to company A, or a variation of this. Now imagine if you're doing this with hundreds of companies. Now, I'm sure you can see how easy it would be to make your first $1 million working together as a team, because with just a $2,000 product, you only need 500 buyers to make $1 million. I can't do this without you, and you can't do this without me. So the difference between making a few $1,000s and $1 million is what we call as the scale of influence. For decades, companies have paid celebrities to endorse their products and services. Oprah has been on the top of that list. When she had her own TV show, she would endorse a certain person or product, and they would become millionaires overnight. Oprah is at the top of that list because people trust her. She's created the careers of people like Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. Now, imagine if someone like Oprah was endorsing you and your products. There are also social media influencers who get paid because these people trust and respect their opinion. As I have mentioned, the very first time I did this, I made a deal with Joel Broughton, who had a level of influence with his following, in which he sent out an email to his customer base endorsing me. And within the very first 6 hours after sending out that email, I did $14,100. And over the next 12 months, that went on to produce close to $150,000 per month income from just this one deal. This also worked for a dentist office out of Ohio, who we made a deal with several beauty salons, in which we added 3,200 new patients to their practice at an average of $2,000 per patient for $1 million in just the first 90 days and $6.5 million over the next 12 months. Chet Holmes, who's worked with Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's business partner, came up with what he calls as the Dream 100. These are the 100 most influential people you want to endorse you and your products and services to get you to your first $1 million. Now, again, auto sales closing systems have 9 steps. Starting out with step number 1, which is to generate interest, which is your traffic. So instead of landing one customer at a time, we use group marketing, which has 3 different subcategories. Number 1 is control the media. Number 2, own the media. And number 3, own the customer. I want to invite you to download your worksheets mapping out your Dream 100 at dream100.alphalifestyleacademy.com. And then move on to our next module where we'll cover control the media. But before we move on, I want to invite you to partner up with us by working together as a team by giving you access to a similar software that some of the biggest experts in their field use, including Dean Graziosi, Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and many others have used, spending $100,000 that has earned them hundreds of millions of dollars, and that Disney acquired from a set of hipster parents for $40 million that we call as an auto sales closing system that will, number 1, generate interest, number 2, capture your leads, number 3, present your products to your prospects, number 4, closing them right there on the spot, and if they don't buy, it follows up with them and closes them at a later point by capitalizing on 9 different categories of income streams at lifestyleaudit.alphalifestyleacademy.com.